John Michael Green is an astounding author, producer, editor, actor, and vlogger. He is the #1 New York Times bestselling author of Looking for Alaska, Paper Towns, An Abundance of Catherines, and The Fault in Our Stars. He has also won several other awards in his lifetime, like the Michael L. Prince Award, the Edgar Award, and the Goodreads Choice Awards. His masterpieces have been printed in over 55 languages and been copied over 24 million times and counting and sent all over the world. Green is also the co-owner of the YouTube channel with his brother, Hank Green, called The Vlogbrothers and Crash Course, with over 1,020 million views and counting. In regards to his personal life, Green was born on August 24th, 1977 to Michael and Sydney Green. In Indianapolis, he attended Indian Spring School, which, funny enough, influenced the setting of the novel. He then attended Kenyon College and graduated with English and religion degrees. This also the specific genre for Looking for Alaska is a Bildungsroman roman fiction novel, also known as a coming-of-age novel. Pudge is constantly figuring out who he is while learning the life lessons that he needs to. His life before Clover Creek is so boring, as he would have never learned what he has while staying at home eating artichoke dip with his parents. As he goes to his new school and finds his friends and starts his new story, he figures out that living in the moment and trying new things is what life is all about. Thomas discovers himself in what he believes in. You can see how much he has matured throughout the book. Later on in the story, as he questions his spirituality, you can see he never puts a label on himself, as he truly believes that we cannot be born, we cannot die. Like all energy, we can only change shapes, sizes, and manifestations. The statement proves that he has learned a lot from attending the school that he has, and that he is always learning more and more every day from the people who care about him and accept him for who he is. That I've read. The story Looking for Alaska takes place in Birmingham, Alabama, at Clover Creek Preparatory School. This is a place of unair-conditioned, poorly furnished American education. Areas often visited throughout the novel were the smoking hole, which is far away enough from the authority where the main characters could laugh around and inhale nicotine, the soccer field where Alaska hid her contraband, the lake where Pudge was bit on the behind by the evil swan, the eagle's house where mischievous actions took place right under the dean's nose, and the barn where the group bonded over death and revenge. Miles Halter decides to seek the Greek perhaps at Clover Creek Preparatory School in Birmingham, Alabama. When he leaves home in Orlando, Florida, he decides that he needs to go out and seek friendship and adventure, as he clearly can't find this at home. After meeting his roommate and acquaintance, Chip the Colonel Martin, he is soon after given the nickname Pudge after his tall, thin stature. Within his newfound friendship, Pudge soon meets several other acquaintances, such as Alaska Young, who is a very spontaneous, emotionally unstable girl who makes everyone's day better, Takumi Hikohito, who has a gift of freestyle rapping and keeping secrets, and Lara Budurskaya, his soon-to-be love interest. Alaska and Pudge run down to the lake on the first night, making a pact while on the swings. They say that if Pudge can find a way out of the labyrinth for Alaska, then she will find him a girlfriend, and soon enough they run off into the moonlight, back to their dorm rooms because it is almost past curfew. In the middle of the night, before classes were in session, Pudge was taped up and thrown into the lake by the Weekday Warriors, who are the rich kids of the school that have a feud with the Colonel about who snitched on a former classmate the year before. This hatred between them has grown so much because of the one code that you must follow has been broken, that you must never snitch on another classmate. And this is what started the prank wars. As by, Alaska and Pudge grow closer while drinking strawberry wine and reading poetry. Pudge soon falls in love with a girl he could never have, but later finds out that he didn't really know who he fell in love with in the first place. As the group bonds over trust, pranks, and cigarettes, they grow stronger over time, but morals are definitely questioned when one member falls off the wagon. One night, Alaska is filled with her drunken sadness, and she doesn't seem to make the decisions that she normally would. Do they make it out safe? Do they find a way out the labyrinth? Does Pudge find the grapes, perhaps, that he was seeking for? You'll have to read to find out. My favorite character throughout the book is Alaska Young, because she is unpredictable in every way. She is charismatic, sexy, and damaged rolled into one. After we find out that Alaska's close family member has passed away at a very young age, it explains many behavioral patterns and outbursts that appear throughout the book. Since Alaska's emotions often influence her decision-making, she often tries to numb the pain with alcohol and tobacco. The quote, "Little kids can dial 911. They do it all the time. Give me the wine," she said, deadpan and emotionless, often describes how she looks to the bottle when her feelings are floating to the surface. All the time of not being able to forgive herself. This leads to her self-destructive tendencies and morbid humor. For example, when Pudge asks her, "Why do you smoke so fast, Alaska?" she replies saying, "You smoke to enjoy it, I smoke to die." Another tragic fact that explains Alaska's emotions is her sense of homelessness. Whenever she can, she stays at campus over the break, which is why she invited Pudge over to stay with her during Thanksgiving. She feels as if a home is a loving place with security and hope, and she hasn't felt that in a very long time because of her hostile relationship with her father. Considering the fact that Alaska Young is incapable of forgiving herself and accepting the past for what it is, she will never be able to find the relief that she needs from herself. The first theme is friendship, because before Pudge started his journey at Culver Creek, he had no friends, which was shown when no one showed up to his going-away party, sadly. But when Pudge was finally enrolled at his new school, he learned how to interact with others, gain their trust, and maintain relationships. In the course of their friendship, Pudge actively shows his loyalty by investing his time and money in things he usually wouldn't. For instance, when he actively participates in smoking and drinking, he does this to show that he values his friendship even if it means getting caught. Another way he shows his fidelity to the colonel is by strictly abiding to the no snitching policy, because he would never want to jeopardize the relationship and bond that he has built with his crew. The last theme in this book that I'm going to mention is mortality. Since Pudge has a thing for famous people's last words, it shows that he has more interest in their last moments of life rather than their whole time on Earth. Alaska also hints to mortality and death several times in the story when she says she smokes to die, and she also says she'll die young, but she'll die smart. This is one of the most prominent themes in the story because it goes all the way from Alaska's family member passing away to sharing cigarettes at the smoking hole. This novel can relate to one's life in a very personal way. When we find out that Alaska has seen one of her very close family members pass away, this can cause much guilt and grief that she can carry throughout her life from this tragic event. When we lose a close family member, this can help us understand the pain and suffering that Alaska is going through. When these things happen, we often ask ourselves, why would this happen now, and could we have done anything more to prevent it from happening? But the answer is usually no. But nevertheless, we often always seem to think of all the other possibilities of the results ending differently, and this leads to much guilt. Like in the story, this can also lead to us not being able to forgive ourselves for not putting enough time and emphasis on those who mean the most. Therefore, many of us, including myself, can easily relate to this novel because of how well Alaska shows what it's like to mourn the loss of a loved one and to regret not being able to do more about the situation. One of the biggest lessons that comes out of this story is perception. During the year, as Pudge attends his iconic world religion classes, the old man lectures him on how there is never one way to view a situation. Study different religions, it helps Pudge and us understand that everyone sees things differently, and that you can always learn more by asking someone else what they think. As we all question why we're here and where we're going, this inspirational story gives us insight on how our way isn't necessarily the right way, and how it doesn't matter what we believe in, it just matters that we have enough hope to get us by. The significant passage I chose to show you is important because it reveals how much Miles has matured throughout his time at Culver Creek. It also shows you the conclusions that he has made on his religion based on the events that have happened throughout the story. When adults say teenagers think they are invincible, with a sly, stupid smile on their faces, they don't know how right they are. We need never be hopeless, because we can never be irreparably broken. We think that we are invincible because we are. We cannot be born and we cannot die. Like all energy, we can only change shapes and sizes and manifestations. They forget that when they get old, they get scared of losing and failing, but that part of us greater than the sum of our parts cannot begin and cannot end, and so it cannot fail. Thank you.